In this video, we will be converting traditional Javadoc to Markdown documentation comments, and we'll be using ChatGPT to make our lives easier. So let's have a look at the Javadoc documentation comment specification for the standard doclet, JDK. And we'll look at the two types of documentation comments. So we've got the traditional documentation comments and Markdown comments. Just checking the size of my browser. Okay, so the traditional documentation comments is what we've been showing for the past couple of videos. However, in this video, we would like to transform those to Markdown documentation comments, and we'll be using ChatGPT for that. So the syntax for Markdown comments is they start with the triple forward slashes. And let's just have a look at the Javadoc guide on the Markdown comments. So let's go to the Javadoc guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this. Oh, sorry, I need to click on the Markdown and documentation comments. And it's pretty much a guide, a complete guide on how to include links, tables, and headings, HTML into your Markdown documentation comments. So I'm going to copy all of that. And then I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'll ask it to give me a summary. I'm converting traditional. I'm just gonna paste it and then I'll copy this. Traditional. Can you please give a summary of the below text, keeping it simple. So the summary is now that Java supports Markdown and documentation comments using the standard Javadoc tool. This makes your documentation clearer, more readable, and easier to convert to HTML. So we use triple forward slash for Markdown style comments instead of the traditional forward slash 2 stars and then ending with a star and a forward slash. The Markdown formatting, we can use bold, italic, code, tables, and heading can now be used. And also we can link code to elements like classes, methods using square brackets. Now Javadoc tags like param, return, and even other custom tags, they work with Markdown as long as they are not inside code blocks or spans. Code examples can be added using inline backticks or fenced blocks, which is the triple backtick, or at snippet for more advanced linking. Headings, we can use a hash summary or even HTML tags are allowed where Markdown isn't enough. You can also use standalone Markdown. Okay, so that's something. This modern approach makes writing and reading documentation much easier. I want to ask more about headings. Can you tell us a little more about headings? So is hash the largest level? Keep your answer short, please. Yes, so Markdown is the largest heading. It's an H1. You can use more hashes symbols for smaller headings, like 2 hashes for H2 levels or 3 hashes for a smaller. Okay, so that's really cool. All right, so what I wanted to do is convert the blocks of this code one by one, and I'll ask it to tell me what happened. Thank you for that. I'm going to ask it, can you please convert the this traditional, I can't even spell it, traditional Javadoc comment into Markdown, and then explain the differences that you made. Maybe use a table they made, keeping it simple. Okay, so here's a converted, so from this, so what we changed was we've included, I'm going to copy all of this and let's see what it talked. So it switched all the comments to / style. Each line with triple slashes are required for Markdown comments. And then it also used the backtick, this one here, for code in Markdown, like code like names are shown using backtick instead of the @code. So that part here is changed to this part. And also we see that the comments start at each line with a /. Replaced @link, so that's the inline code, with scanner. So this will link it to the scanner class. This is the Markdown way to link to Java elements like classes, and kept Javadoc tags like author, version, and since work the same. All right, maybe what do we want to ask it? Okay, so let's have a look at, let's copy it and put it into here. Let's replace it. So this will give us that monospace font. If we looked at this documentation comment, so this documentation is the one that's generated with the previous, like the previous version, which is the traditional Javadoc. So that's that at code or previously. Let's have a look at this part here. This inline code is what will give us that sort of different font looking like a monospace font, which we now achieve the same using the backticks. Okay, let's give it more work. Now let's give it this one. I'm going to give it 2 at a time because I'm using the free version and I might run out of limits during the video and I don't want that to happen. So I've asked it to convert 2 other blocks, and I asked it to give me the differences, keeping it simple because I don't want it to talk too much and make the video longer. So so now with the previous version, so let's copy this and put it here so we can see the difference. So what it did is it removed this inline code and replaced it with the Markdown version, which is a single backtick, and everything remained like the / replaced the previous way. So let's see. So replaced the opening and closing comments with the / and it changed this inline code to single backticks. This is simpler and standard in Markdown. And remove the extra asterisks that kept each line clean. Okay. So that part is for the constructor summary. So that's what it will look like for us. Okay, let's get rid of that. And let's see what else it changed. Now this part, let's copy it into the Eclipse, but what it did is, again, it switched the comments and it used backtick for main, so to give us that sort of monospace font. And now this part here will replace the @link with square brackets for linking methods. So what it's going to do is when we click on it, it will take us to this method. And then it kept up param as is because it works the same in Markdown comments. Beautiful. So let's put that instead of this. Now let's copy these two more. Oh, I've got three. I hope I have enough. And this one, please. And this one. Let's do this, and I'll have one more. Remember to tell us the difference, keeping it simple. All right, so for this one, we replace the comments with triple forward slashes. Remember, even if it's a blank line, we still need to put the triple forward slashes at each line. It did remove the literal for the smaller sign and greater sign because in Markdown you can just put them in directly. So this part here, we don't need to wrap them with the literal inline tag. Also replaced this part here to square brackets for the scanner. And instead of at code, inline code, we've just put the single backticks, simpler Markdown inline code, and all the other tags for at param, at return, and at throws all remained the same. Beautiful. So let's copy that into here. And so when we look at the version here, it will give us sort of a link. We don't have a link, so that integer, that monospace font, and a link to the external scanner class should also be achieved now. Let's come back to ChatGPT and copy this part as well. Here it's switched the comments to forward slashes, and the Markdown doesn't require escaping. Like we don't need to use the HTML escape code unless it causes issue, so we can use it directly. I doubt this will work. Let's just see how that will work. Let's go to here and okay, I'll worry about indentation later. I'm not sure this will work, but let's copy and do one more and we'll come back to this. And last one, please. Same as you did above. Hope it will get it. Sure, here's the Markdown version, followed by a simple explanation for the changes. I'll copy that one, but let's see what it did. So again, forward slash, triple forward slashes at each line, including empty lines, and removed the P tag and pre-tags in Markdown. We use blank tag. So this was called a fenced block, or fence block, the triple backticks that will sort of display the HTML code as is. What else did we do? We replaced the literal with plain HTML. Markdown doesn't need special escaping of HTML inside code blocks because previously we had to escape each part like this, and specified the code block type as HTML for proper highlighting in some tools. Specify the code block type as HTML. Oh, this one. Okay, that's so cool. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm gonna save it, and then we'll come to the location of this package. So it's sitting under Learn Java, and I've got the command line running from there, and I'm just gonna use the Javadoc tool to generate the documentation for us. So like I thought, this is not okay. So I'm just gonna use single backticks to include sort of an inline code. And let's run the documentation again, the tool, and that's working fine. So now let's go inside docs and inside index. Now this will tell us what that looks like. So this is going to take us to an external class scanner. We come back to the beginning, like similar way. It's pretty much it's going to be a bit hard to compare everything, but it looks now this looks monospaced in the same way as we have for the previous one. Of course, if I refresh this, it's just going to change, but this is from the older version that I've just kept in this tab. Yeah, so we can see that we didn't need to escape less than or equal to in the same way that we did with the traditional Javadoc comments. Int here is monospaced, and our HTML is looking exactly as it is because we've used the fenced block using triple backticks. I'd like to ask it, can you make this bold? Bold. Let's see. So using the double, uh, let me just put in here. The 2 stars, beginning with 2 stars and ending with two stars, should give us that bold style. So let's open that again. So we can see that's become actually bold. If we go to explain benefits, we can see this part is become bold. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I think we've covered everything. We did probably some parts we didn't do like headings. However, this is an example of how you can have a heading. Maybe I can ask it to make that a heading. Let's see. How about if you made it a heading instead of bold? That's that's how you do a heading. So let's try that and save, run the tool again. Open index one more time. This is older versions. So let's go all the way down. And we can see this beautiful heading. Other things we can also see is this is an internal link to display menu, works exactly the same. And yeah, so I think that concludes our session. Thank you so much for your help. Let's thank ChatGPT today. It made it, you made it easier for us to understand and convert our traditional comments into Markdown. Gosh. Okay, how do you spell that? Tradition. I don't know how to spell traditional. Yeah, I'm struggling here. Is that it? That looks like it. Yep. Very welcome. So nice of it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps you at least get to easily convert your traditional Javadoc to Markdown using ChatGPT. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.